We did not steal elections, and the narratives of stolen elections is something that demoralizes the IBC staff. This is part of, these are words of Abdi Guliye in his exit speeches at the helm of bedeviled Electoral Commission. He was making this statement, and this emerged amidst a statement from Raila Odinga that there are plans to charge Wafula Chebukati afresh over his conduct in the last general election. I am a bit persuaded to say that the electoral body and those who are celebrating victory or not, I think should just leave the rest of those who feel a bit uncomfortable to heal. The discussion about what went wrong, what went where, on who stole whose election, according to me, I don't think it's something that should continue. And because we were in an election where, of course, there are those who feel it didn't go their way, those who feel it went their way. It's something that, according to me, should be left. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Kevin Oduor. Someone asked voters whether they're going to vote. And I can challenge Abdi Guliye that while a stolen election narrative is boldly, according to him, demoralizing IBC staff, but that is not consequential as to the extent it's also demoralizing the voters. August 9th general election, we witnessed historic low voter turnout. I am afraid, and I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm afraid future election in 2027, it may be worse. It may be worse because a stolen election has over time been packaged as denial of results. That's how it has been packaged. And there have been a language of let's move on, let's see. But we need to look at it critically that apart from people or other Kenyans losing hope in the leadership of the day, there is also something that maybe people might have realized that the stolen election narrative shows that there is no change, or number one, elections are not used to decide. And that narrative is sinking that it's not about voting, it's about counting. That narrative gets, and it seems is sinking in the mind of people. I can challenge IBC that the new office that is coming, Abdi Guliye, Chebukati, and Boyamolu, and now almost all the commissioners are going to leave. The biggest challenge is to create the image, is to make sure the image is there, so that Kenyans would revive and renew their energy to go and vote. Because without that, it might be comfortable to make it easy. The majority carries the day. But that also borders legitimacy. People might choose to stay at home, not to vote. But then are they going to be appreciative of what the government of then is doing? So we want to challenge the Guliye and the people in election management that it does not demoralize IBC staff, because there are many people out here who are looking for those jobs. And we have many Kenyans staying in the jobless corners that want. I was even seeing Twitter people coming out to say, Mimi nataka hii kazi, give me this, give me that. So it's not about some 2-3 demoralized, but it's about millions who now feel that a stolen election, because of stolen election, then there is no need to respond to this. This is coming when Raila said, look here, we have to go after Chebukati again. Now, what does it, and I want us just to face simple, it's a very simplistic statement, a very simple statement, but it carries a lot. Stolen elections. It's about time we agree that we must learn from our past. The worst this country went down was in 2007. And I just feel like from the experience of 2007, we ought to have learned our lessons. We ought to have learned our lessons right. Because in 2007, we experienced a stolen election. And because of that, we went down. Since then, when we came to the promulgation of the new constitution, we came up with the hybrid system of voting. Whether we have manual, but there was electronic aspect, voter identification, voter registration, and even transfer. Now, by that time, we didn't have that electronic transfer. In 2017, then we introduced the electronic transfer. But I think that was even in 2013, but then we advanced it in 2017. So our election is progressive. It's supposed to be progressive in the sense that what we did in the past, we should be improving in the next. But when we stagnate on stolen elections, then we are doing a disservice to ourselves. I mentioned that we must appreciate that we are from somewhere and we are heading somewhere. A nation, and if we are reminded of where we come from, there are some mistakes that we will not do, or rather we will not repeat. Guys, what's the danger of the stolen election? What's the danger? I know it's simple, but that's what I want us to look at briefly in this analysis. With us normalizing stolen elections, we are normalizing it. That's the truth. We normalized even in 2017, 2013. We were like, okay, fine. Supreme Court has said, let's move on. It goes. And I've always said that the legal framework did not offer tangible solution. If we find, because elections are transitions, are elements of transition. So if court finds, for example, court finds Chebukati wrong now, do you expect William Ruto to punish Chebukati? Just ask yourself that question. That's why I'm saying it has its own, even though naturally they are supposed to, but because this is the person who gave you power, do you expect William Ruto to overstep, to hit Chebukati? No. Instead, he is supposed to call him hero of the day. Now, stolen elections is a tool that has been used by the West over time to destabilize Africa. Go to Uganda. I should not mock Uganda, but have they experienced a transition? No. It's because stolen election is a tool. Here, we had an election. To date, no one knows about the Venezuelans that were arrested. No one knows about procurement of our electronic infrastructure. No one knows everything about other aspects that were put in it. But in the election day, we all remember we had a split screen where one side is saying this and the other side is saying this. What we've come is, after getting sensationalizing things, saying about what happened before results were announced, or military was planted into it. But then no one is giving us a key audit of what happened. We saw the international community taking sides, saying, okay, this thing is free and fair. It's free and fair, while at results announced, it's split screen. So there are things we must get. I don't think we should normalize. I know it borders, because this is something that borders illegitimacy. And it's easy to get majority to win, say, yes, I have won. Without legitimacy, when you don't get that reception, you rule, but even the people that want to invest, when the ground is hostile, you can't put it well. I've always said, look at the election of 2002. The magic why Kibaki achieved what he achieved is the feel-good economy. Despite the fact that we're coming from a transition where going from Moi era to now, there was an element of reprieve when the Mokisaki Tuis were in government, and specifically the ministries. John Michuki coming over with a Magufuli style to realign the matatu culture. So we got things because of legitimacy, and Kenya took off there. Now I'm wondering how you want to do projects here and there, and you want to involve here and there, but you want to take projects to Nyanza, to there, but on jobs you are cutting in the middle. Give this, give that. So we're simply not getting it right. It brings the question of everyone for himself. It's our time. It's our time narrative where we take it all. We must end political contestation. And what will end political? If I lose fairly, honestly, if I lose fairly, and if you know you lose fairly, that's it. In 2002, those who were against Kibaki lost fairly. So it is not lost to us. There is a narrative that we will have a contested election, whatever come, what come may. I don't think that's it. When Kibaki won, Uhuru Kenyatta, James Orengo, and all those, they had lost fairly. And there was a feel-good environment. Everyone then was like, okay, we are playing our opposition, but we lost. I can say that there are those who can lose. You can lose. I know, and it's been a coincidence. Why has Raila been losing throughout? I think that narrative is an escapist narrative. When we make it work, we should always make it work for all of us. Then, killing dreams. Who will get, when will millennials get to these positions? If in the back room, it's all about my election was stolen, we don't need this, we don't need that. When will millennials take up the space? The only encouragement for millennials to take up the space is to make sure that we show them, because that's the only thing that, okay, who will win will be president, or that will be it. So we must, I think according to me, there must be an element of fairness. And that's why I insist that election reforms is a progressive process. It should not, it doesn't end anywhere. It's a process that continues. As we head towards 2027, there are things, not everything we got right in 2022. There is that which we got right, and we can still make it better. We can still change. There are some things that we can still look at, and that's why we need a full audit, a good audit, so that vitu move to, it's not a one-time thing. What we did in 2022 is not the same as what we did in 2013, not what we did in 2007. There is quite a spectrum of difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. Let's meet in the next. I'm wondering about the LGBTQ, the guy who was killed in Eton was in Gishombu. Let's look at that.